The President of the United States of America, authorized by Act of Congress March 3, 1863, has awarded in the name of the Congress the Medal of Honor to First Sergeant David H. McNerney, United States Army, for conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in action at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty. On 22 March 1967, First Sergeant McNerney distinguished himself when his unit, Company A, 1st Battalion, 8th Infantry, was attacked by a North Vietnamese battalion near Pole Doc, Republic of Vietnam. He was assisting in the development of a defensive perimeter when he encountered several enemy at close range. He killed the enemy but was painfully injured when blown from his feet by a grenade. Disregarding the pain of his injury, First Sergeant McNerney remained with his unit until the next day when the new commander arrived. His outstanding heroism and leadership were in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Army and reflect great credit upon himself and the armed forces of his country.
Secretary Clifford, Secretary Rezor, General Wheeler, General Westmoreland, members of Congress, most distinguished guests. We have come here today to honor 5 unusually brave men in the only way that we know how, by awarding them a medal that expresses as best we can our great gratitude for their gallant service to their country. They represent 2 generations of Americans. The oldest of them was born in the midst of the Depression. The youngest of them was born at the end of Second World War. So the worlds that they grew up in were very different. But the decision they made was the same. When the time came, they answered the challenge of our beloved late President John Kennedy. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what can you do for your country. They represent the courage and the selflessness, the eternal striving of the American spirit. There are other qualities in our people's spirit for which medals are seldom awarded. Impatience is one of them. Impatience with things as they are has always been an engine of progress in America. Impatient men built our great economy. Impatient men demanded that a decent education be available for every child and asked why some should have good medical care in their old age while others went without help. It was 25 years ago that an impatient president insisted that we could build 50,000 airplanes a year in the midst of a war, only to be challenged and later to learn that we built twice that many. Millions of white and Negro Americans were impatient with the slow progress of human rights in America. They demanded action to secure those rights in our time, not a generation from now. And they got it. So there's much to be said for this American virtue of impatience. But it also has another side. Sometimes in our impatience to see why the plant is growing so suddenly, we're tempted to pull it up and examine its roots. Finding that a social program has not changed living conditions overnight, sometimes we're inclined to want to abandon it. Discovering that a limited war of insurgency is really difficult to fight, and that the institutions of self-government are very slowly to build, some Americans are ready to forsake our commitment, to ignore our national interest, even if that may mean a larger conflict later on. The men who stand here beside me today, impatient men who did not wait in the bunker until the battle was over, but joined it with incredible courage. Know that the conflict in Vietnam demands something more than impatience. It demands steadfastness, the willingness and the ability to endure hardship and disappointment as long as the cause is honorable and in the quest for an honorable peace. The history of our country suggests that what the times demand, our people produce. And these times demand not only impatience that drives us to change and improve our country, but also steadfastness, so that the bravery of these men and their hundreds of thousands of comrades in arms will not have been offered in vain. We salute you. We thank you. Thank you very much.